Can we finally talk about Video Game High School?
Do you want to hear about how the real world's a place for me?
I've never been a huge web series connoisseur, other than, I guess, the time I made one myself. So it may be a little overzealous to claim that I know what the best series on YouTube really is, but I definitely know what my favorite would be, and that's Rocket Jump's Video Game High School. Video Game High School, or VGHS, premiered its first season in 2012 on Freddie Wong's YouTube channel Rocket Jump. Even if you don't know Rocket Jump by name, you've definitely seen some of their videos. They did the Mexican standoff with Key and Peele.
I knew you knew I knew all along, all along, all along.
Mario Kart in real life. They've got a secondary channel called Rocket Jump Film School with some quality video essays. Look them up. They're real good. Anyway, when Rocket Jump announced Video Game High School in 2011, they said they'd be crowdfunding it through Kickstarter and set a goal of a $75,000 budget. That budget was met in under 24 hours, and eventually they reached over $250,000 before the campaign was over. All 3 seasons of the show were a massive success. Season 1 is pretty short, each episode is under 20 minutes, and in fact they eventually cut it together to one full-length movie on Netflix. Seasons 2 and 3, though, had much higher budgets after the success of Season 1, and as such they've got better production value and much longer episodes. The series as a whole wrapped up in 2014, despite many fans' desperate pleas for a continuation called Video Game College or Video Game University. Am I boring you with my history lesson yet? Sorry, that's rhetorical. Let's keep going. So why do I love Video Game High School so much? Well, several reasons, but I think the most important ones are the passion and creativity involved and the pretty masterful storytelling, especially in later seasons. It's also action-packed. A good portion of the show is set in video games, which means we get to see a big variety of genres and scenarios for the characters. The show takes place in a universe where video games are the most popular sport, and people attend elite video game high schools in the hopes of going pro. As such, there's a lot of fun world-building and hilarious implications throughout the series. The whole premise is really silly, and the writers know that. The arena where they play games is called Grand Theft Auditorium. The protagonist's mother is supposedly an addict, which just means she plays video games all day and never leaves the house. I even noticed this yesterday. The bathroom stalls have signs that say video game accessible. One of my favorite gags throughout the series is that the president is missing and no one seems to care. The first season starts with breaking news that he's gone and then an interruption to show gaming highlights.
And yet the president's condition is still unknown at this time. A nation waits with...
Then in the third season, it's like they're having a reality show to decide who the next president is going to be, and right before Tony Hawk is about to win the title, Josh McHale from Community shows up out of nowhere. I realize this may sound like total nonsense out of context. Season 1 does have a bit of that Harry Potter knockoff syndrome. It's 2 guys and 1 girl going to a special school in a fantasy universe. It's also somewhat cliche and corny in the grand scheme of things, with lots of the tropes of high school movies playing out like they always do. But I think it still gets by on the merits of its characters and the sense of humor it has throughout. By Season 2, though, the show has really found its own identity, and the fact that the budget is much higher certainly makes it feel more professional, too. There's so much silly, creative nonsense in this show, it's just hilarious. With lines like,
"See you tomorrow, forever,"
and,
"I've got the girl of your dreams, Essin' my D, stylin' my dude."
How could you not love that? There's a guy named Games Dean who dresses like James Dean but plays video games. Yeah, I know, it's great. The most common snack in the VGHS universe is called Pizza Dunks, and it's essentially pizza in a can from a vending machine. One episode inexplicably opens like Back to the Future.
"We're late for class!"
The best episode of the entire show is one where the whole thing starts like a Disney Channel sitcom.
I would much rather go to VGHS Video Game Homeschool.
There's a laugh track, they shot it with a multi-camera setup and flat lighting, but then as the episode goes on, it's revealed that Ted's dad died, and the episode suddenly becomes like a super emotional character drama with some really dark turns. Oh, also, this is going to make people even more confused. Ted is played by Jimmy Wong, and his dad is played by Freddie Wong, who's Jimmy's brother in real life. It started as kind of a joke in the first season, but by season 3, you totally believe it, and it's like a brutally emotional experience when Ted has to mourn. And that's really what I love most about the show. Sure, the sense of self-aware humor and the parody aspect is super fun, but it's always got a very authentic human soul hidden underneath, despite the humor. If you haven't seen this show yet, you'll be shocked when this ridiculous sci-fi parody universe suddenly has you in tears. Heck, they managed to pull off a super dramatic arc about the death of a little toy digipet. And the best part is that the writers are completely unafraid to put their characters through some tough crap. Especially in Season 3, all of the protagonists prove to be really flawed and imperfect people, and nothing plays out in a way that feels remotely cliché or inauthentic. Season 1 may have felt like a much romanticized Hollywood story, but the remaining seasons really show that nothing is as perfect as it seems. As any great story does, VGHS gives the audience satisfying emotional beats and entertaining moments while also testing the premise to its limits and providing some challenging dilemmas. Well, I think this is going to be a pretty short video for a change because that's most of what I have to say. I will add this though, if you're an aspiring filmmaker like me, then I can't recommend this show enough. Not just because it's great entertainment, but also because it proves that you don't need a multi-million-dollar budget to produce something that's engaging and original. Rocket Jump also has like a whole playlist of behind-the-scenes featurettes for every single episode, plus like post-production featurettes and stuff about the VFX and writing process, so even from that perspective, it's really inspiring and informative. So that's it. I know this wasn't like my most emotional or mind-blowing video, but I've loved VGHS for years now and always wanted to share the show with people who hadn't heard about it. Especially when I was 14 and 15 watching this, the struggles the teenage characters were going through, while taking place in this silly parody universe, still felt real and authentic, and made me feel in a way that not much else had at the time. But just remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the game.
Do you wanna hear about how the real world's a place for me?
Alright, I guess that's it. I know this is a pretty short video. I'm probably on vacation as you're watching this as well. I made a few like this one in advance to post while I was gone. But yeah, I've wanted to talk about Video Game High School for a really long time because I've loved it for so many years, and I feel like a lot of other people love it, but there's always been a significant lack of like videos or appreciation for it at all on the internet, so really wanted to give it that. Yeah, you know the drill. You know, you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You can like this video. There's a Patreon page. Follow me at @BlockbustedPod, yada, yada, yada. You know the whole thing. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.